very good morning to all my dear students. I hope you are practicing your programs every day. So, in our previous class, we had seen the nested if statement and some programs of nested if statement. So, in our today's class, we are going to see we are going to discuss four other examples of decision making questions only, but we will have to figure out which if statement will be most suitable for these questions. That is, you will be yourself figuring out which question will be using which type of if. That is, now we will be seeing the actual application of all the selection statements which we have seen so far. So in the question, nothing will be provided to you regarding which if variant you are going to use. It is your thinking and your logic and reasoning which you have to apply to figure out which if variant will be applied in the particular question. So let's move on. So you can see the very first question here. Write a program in Python to accept two numbers and print the larger of the two. That is, you have to ask for two numbers from the user and you have to print which number is the largest one. Now the problem with such questions is that uh, we don't have we don't know what value the user is going to give, because we would be having only two variables a and b. So entirely we are dependent upon our program to decide which number would be the greater number. So here also let us start with creating a decision tree first of all. So this is a decision tree. Decision tree will not contain any input statements. It will only contain the decisions, right? And the most suitable over here will be, first we will have to figure out how to do it. So we will first check if A is greater than B or not. If it is yes, that means A is greater number, and if it is no, that means B is the greater number. Now that we are right now, for purposes of simplicity, we are going to assume that A and B are two distinct numbers. They are not equal numbers. That we will be discussing slowly. Okay. So let's take it one step at a time. So over here, this is the decision tree, and let us draw the flow chart. Let us draw the flowchart now. So over here we start with our flowchart. So we first ask for two values from the user. Read A and B. Then check A greater than B. Is A greater than B? If the answer is yes, then we will print that A is greater. And if no, that means B is greater. And stop. So whatever it is, whether A is greater or B is greater, ultimately it will lead to stop. So this is the flow chart, and let us now create its program. So we come to the Python shell, we open a new script window, and we will be saving it in our usual location, that is my Python programs. Greater of two numbers. And we will be asking for them using int enter a number. Students, for many purposes, that is because in Python floating point numbers use internal approximation to store the numbers, hence sometimes doing comparisons between two floating point numbers will might give some unpredictable results. So for this purposes only, when you are doing comparisons, always stick to integer values only. Even if it's a float value, convert it into integer and then only you should apply the condition on that. So I'm taking two integer values only right now. Enter. We will write here for this one first number and we will write here enter second number. If A is greater than B, that means A is greater than B. Else we will simply copy this line and we will just replace A with B and vice versa. Okay, and now let's run the program. Two numbers are given, any two random numbers. So 68 is greater than 45 in this case, and if I am entering 8 and 3, 8 is greater than 3. So whichever number the user enters, the program is going to execute accordingly. Let's do the dry run. The dry run is very simple. Whatever value is given for A and B, suppose we have taken the value as 87 here and we have taken the value as 75 here. So is A, that is 87, greater than 75? Answer is yes. So A is greater than B will be printed, that is 87 is greater than 75 will be printed, and this else part won't be executed. So program control will come to the terminated state. So this is how this program will be executed. So let's see the next question. Write a program in Python to accept three numbers and print the largest of three. So now we have to check which number is the greatest number out of three numbers. So again that problem. So we are assuming that A, B and C are the three numbers entered by the user and these three are three distinct numbers. There would not be any duplicate numbers, that is no two values will be equal in this case. Okay, that is because right now we are sticking to a simpler algorithm. Later on we will increase its complexity. So we will first start with creating a decision tree. So how to check whether which number is the greatest out of the three numbers? So two distinct logics you can use here. One logic is if A is greater than B and A is greater than C. If obviously if A is greater than both B and C, or I'll use the simple layman term, that is English term, A is greater than B and C. So A, if it is greater than B and C both, it means that we can print here. If this is yes, then we will print A is greatest number. If this condition is not true, if it is no, then we will go for the second element, that is B. Now if this condition is false, if the first condition is false, okay, then and in case B is the greater number, so it is obviously true that now if this condition is false, it always checks the first. You always know that when we write A greater than B and A greater than C, the moment the first condition is proved false and doesn't check, Python doesn't check the condition after and. It only checks the first condition, and the first condition being false is enough for turning the entire expression false. So that is the reason why if this condition is false, it means that 100% it's the first condition which is false. If the first condition is not false and if the second condition is false, then obviously it is there. So now the thing is, whatever be the condition, it is quite possible that will be checking for, in over here we will be checking for B greater than A as well as B greater than C. So you can write B greater than A and C, or you can simply write B greater than C, because if this condition is false, we will only be checking whether B is greater than C or not. And if you get confused, for that purpose I have written you can also check whether B is greater than A as well as B is greater than C. So if this is yes, that means B is the greatest number. And if this is no, then we are left with only one option. That is, we have checked this condition. If this condition is false, it means A is not the greatest number. We have checked this condition. If it is false, it means B is not the greatest number. Then it implies that C is the greatest number. अगर A और B दोनों ही greater number नहीं है, मतलब C is the greater number. Understood? So this is my decision tree. Let's draw the flow chart. So start. Okay, read three values A, B and C, and first check A greater than B and C. Whether A is greater than B and C both. If that is true, then simply print A is greatest and move on to the statement for stop. If it is no, then we have to check another condition, and that is B greater than A and C. If this is true, that means B is the greatest number. And we come to stop. And if this is also no, that means there is only the last resort, that is C is the greatest number. And from here also it will lead to stop. So you can see this. This is the flow chart. We first read three values. We check whether A is the greatest number. If that is false, we check whether B is the greatest number. If that is also false, it is implied that C is the greatest number. And whichever output is generated, it will lead to termination of the program after that. Let us write the program for this. So we will save this first. Greatest of three numbers. So now let us ask for the numbers from the user. Enter first number. If A is greater than B and A is greater than C, or alternatively you can also write in Python like this. If A if you can also write like this, that is A is greater than B as well as C. So I'm writing the optional part here. If A is greater than B and A is greater than C. So you can write in Python. Python is the only language which allows you to write statement in this form, that is in the pure mathematical form. So if this is the case, then we will write A is the greatest number and I will copy this also because we will be needing the same template elsewhere. Now, because you can see over here, we have to check two conditions. So it is implied that we will be using an if else ladder. So next one will be, B will be in the center. That is B is greater than A and C. So its alternate version will be B greater than A and B greater than C. Print B is the greatest number. And else part, we will simply write C is the greatest number. Let us run the program. So enter the first number. So I am going to enter the first number as 5, second as 6, third as 7. So 7 is the greatest number here. If I check it for 8, 6, 7, 8 is the greatest number. And if I write 4, 9 and 6, 9 is the greatest number. So whichever number is the greater number, this program sorry, will give you the correct answer for that. Now there is one more logic for this. So we are going to discuss that logic also. Now this logic will work for cases when two numbers are same also. So what we are going to do in this, I am directly moving towards the flow chart. So we start with asking for the three values. So it will be read A, B and C. And over here we will write, we will use a process box. We will take a variable max, or instead of max, I'll take a variable named big. And to big, I will assign the value 0. Okay. I will assign the value 0 to big. Now I will start a decision box. Is A greater than big? If A is greater than big, then we will write, we will assign the value of A to big. So big will store the value of A if A is greater than big. Okay. Move on next. We will again check. If is B greater than big? If the answer is yes, then we will assign the value of B to big. And we will again check. Is C greater than big? If the answer is yes, we will assign big, the value of C to big. So in this question, one thing is left now. If A is not greater than big, then simply move to the next statement. That is, check the next condition. Okay. So if and because it is no here, it means that if why I am writing no, it is not else. We will be writing different if conditions. That is, if this condition is false, just simply check the next condition. And then if B is greater than, if it is greater than big, then fine, we can write big equals B. Else, check the next condition. And if here also we see that C is not greater than big, then move to the next part, and this part will also lead to the next part only. If this executes, it will lead to this next part. If it doesn't execute, then also it leads to the next part. So in the next part, we will be simply printing greatest number is big. So at the end, big will be having only the greatest number. let us do a dry run and see for ourselves. We read three numbers. A is 50, B is 25 and C is 500. Okay, and big is 0. So we first check, is A greater than big? Answer is 50, it is greater than big, yes. So we will assign the value 50 to big. So now the value of big is what? 50. Now next is B is 20, big is 50 and the value of B is 25. So we come down here. Is B greater than big? So B is 25. It is not greater than big. That means it will simply move on to the next condition. And what was C? Now I'll write big over here and C was 500. So our next statement is C greater than big? That is 500 greater than big? Answer is yes. So now big will be having what? 500. So once this is executed, come to the next line and the output will be greatest number is what? Big, which is 500. So this is how we execute this program. Let us do this. In the same program, I will be making the changes. So I'm going to remove this condition part only. And I'm going to take big equals 0. And I'm using a comment line here. Stores the largest number. Now, if A is greater than big, so big is equal to A. Okay. Then we will be checking if B is greater than big. So big is equal to B. If C is greater than big, big is equal to C. So we can see, we can say over here, like if we have three values, I have A equals 45, I have B equals 65 and I have C equals 84. Or let me take 25 here, right? So these are the values. So let's check. Is 45 greater than big? Yes. So now what happens? Over here, big is equal to 45. Come down. Is B greater than big? B is 65. It is greater than big? Yes. So again, big is equal to B. That is 65. Now is C greater than big? C is 25, so it is not. That means at this statement big equals C won't be executed. Okay, and at the end we have big equals 65 only. So we can simply print the largest number is big. So this is another way of solving this question. So I am entering three values, any three values, and you can see the largest number is printed. So this is how we handle if statement here. There are a few other programs, so we will see them also. The third question, write a program to find multiples of a number out of 5 given numbers. So multiple of a number out of 5 given numbers we have to check. So I'm just looking for an empty space. Now we are doing question number 3. So you are given 5 different numbers A, B, C, D and E, and you are given a number num, and you have to check whether A is a multiple of num, B is a multiple of num, C or D or E are a multiple of num. So it means that num should be divisible by any of these values. Okay, num has to be checked for divisibility by any of these values, and those which satisfy the condition, they will be considered as the uh, multiple of this number. So because we are checking divisibility, hence we will be needing to check the remainder, and because we need the remainder, we will need the modulus operator. So how to do this? Let's start. So we first write start over here. We write start over here. Okay. Now we will be reading all the values. So I'll be writing here read A, B, C, D, E and num. If you want, you can give descriptive statements also over here, but for purposes of limited time, we are not doing that here. Okay. In your program, you can easily, or in your flowchart, you can easily write read 5 numbers, read the number which is to be checked. So you can give descriptive statements in your program. Now we will simply jump to the decision tree. First, we will check whether num is divisible by A or not. Is equal to 0 is, now we are not using double equal to here. Why? Because flowchart is not based on any particular programming language. Okay, flowchart is free of any programming language constructs, because flowchart means we are only checking, we are only working out the logic of the program. Okay, so if it is yes, that is if it is divisible, so we will write num is divisible by A. Okay, and we will move on to the next one. And in case it is no, then also we will move on to the next one. So we will now check, is num divisible by B? If it is yes, then we will simply write, I'm just writing it like this, divisible by B. Okay, and move on to the next. And if this is false, then also move on to the next. And the next one is num divisible by C. If it is yes, we will print that num is divisible by C, or C is a multiple of num. If it is no, we will move on to the next, and it would be like this. So same way I can do it for divisible by D and E also. Okay, and finally it would lead to this statement, that is E is a multiple of num and stop. And whatever will be there, you might be getting another arrow for the else part, so that also you can print. So this is how we can do this. Let us check it out, okay, in the form of a program first. So I'm going to write a program here. Multiples of a number. So we are taking num here. I can take float also. Enter a number. And we will be taking A, B, C and D. So for that also I'm going to quickly just copy this. So I'm just changing here A number, B number, C number and D number. Okay, A, B, C, D, E. I have taken it this way. Now, if num is divisible by A, so we will simply print A is a multiple of num. And I'll copy this also. Elif, now you can see that over here we are not going to use if elif, we will be using simple if, because we have to check whether now it's not that if num is divisible by a, it won't be divisible by b. If I use elif condition, then if the first condition satisfies, it won't check the other conditions, but we have to check the other conditions also. Hence we have to write a simple if everywhere. So multiple conditions, we will be writing simple if. So for that purpose only, I will copy this entire condition and paste it 5 times. And I will simply replace these alphabets here. E, okay. And that's all. And let's now run the program. So I'm entering a number 456 and I'm entering 5 numbers 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So we can see over here 2 is a multiple of this, 3 is a multiple, 4 is a multiple, 6 is a multiple. So this is how the program gives me the answer. It checks each condition. So let's go by this. If I give any number, it will check whether the number is divisible. If yes, move on to the next. If no, then also move on to the next condition. That is, next condition has to be executed, whether irrespective of the fact whether the previous condition is executed or not. Next is write a program to calculate BMI of a person, that is body mass index of a person, after inputting his weight in kgs and height in meters, and then print the nutritional status as per the following table. So this is quite easy. We will I hope you can create the flowchart on your own, because I will be only concentrating on the decision tree here. So I am going to just draw the decision tree. So first you have to calculate the body mass index, which is a simple application of a formula, as we will be seeing in a short while. That is usually kg divided by meter square. Okay. So it would be calculated within body mass index. That is, we will take BMI as a variable. And for purposes of simplicity, let me take it as BMI like this. Okay. Now I'll be drawing a decision tree. So for this, we will first see if BMI is, it's written here, if it is less than 18.5. So I'll write here less than 18.5. If it is yes, then the person is underweight. If it is no, go for the next condition. That is, if it lies between 18.5 and 24.9. So if BMI is not less than 18.5, it is quite obvious that it will be greater than or equal to 18.5. So, and it will be less than, it has to be up to 24.9, that is less than 25. So I am simply taking it as less than 25. Then if it is yes, then what is to be done? It is written normal. So I'll be writing here normal. And if it is no, again go for the next condition. Now what is the next condition here? 25 to 29.9. That is overweight. So we will write here, if it is not less than 25, it means it is greater than equal to 25. So we will be taking it as less than 30 because last value is 29.9. If it is yes, then the answer is overweight. And if it is no, then you have to you don't have to check anything because it will be obviously greater than 30. Hence, it would be obese. So this is my decision tree and it is quite visible here that we will be using if, elif, else ladder. So let us move on to our question. So the formula for calculation of body mass index is weight divided by height square, that is kg divided by meter square. So it is necessary that weight should be in kilograms and height should be in meters. So let us do this program. So let us first ask for weight of the person and let us save it in kg only. And let us ask for the height of the person, that too in meters. And let us calculate BMI, which is kg divided by meter square. So I am going to write it like this, raised to the power 2. Now if BMI, let us check the condition. So if BMI is less than 18.5, we write it this way so that I can see the condition. So if it is less than 18.5, then we will print it as underweight. L if BMI is less than 25, it is normal. L if BMI is less than 30, that is, if it is not less than 25, obviously it will be less than 30. So it will be overweight. L if, sorry, else print obese. So let's run the program and see. So weight of the person I am taking as 75 kilos and the weight of height of the person I am taking as 1.6 meters, and that person is overweight, it says. Okay. Then if I just write weight of the person is 75 kilos but the height is 1 point, it is obese. And again if I run the program, weight is 75 and the height of the person is 1.8, it is normal. Okay, so this is how we can do this, but now there is a catch over here, that is this same program had we done it in the opposite way. How to do it, so that we will discuss in our next class. So students, I hope you understood today's 4 programs. Okay. So that one anomaly of this if elif else nested cascading if else ladder, we will be seeing it in our next class. So that's all in today's class. We will again meet in the next class. Thank you.